Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry. So what happened was my phone and it was sitting in the sun and that sun glare. So hopefully you guys hop back on. Oh my gosh, once again, I think I'm sitting in a spider web. Once again, I forgot to shut off my notifications. So let's see if I could do that really quick while I'm here with you. Let's see, is that it? There we go. Hi guys. Hi Pikachu. I'm sorry guys. Hey again. I'm back. I'll just do a quick recap of that other one, and then I'm not going to read it. I left the iPad. I left literally the groceries, frozen stuff, everything in the car, ran in the house, I went to the bathroom, had my phone in front of the AC vent the whole time I was driving home. Hey guys. Hi everyone hopping on. And ran inside, ran to the bathroom, and then I just got myself situated. I'm like, I left everybody hanging. I will get my live videos to work, I promise, one day soon. I feel like the last few have just been a hot mess. Hey guys, hey Road to Prison. So thank you guys. Okay, so let me just recap the first one, what I read on the first live. I read an email from this woman, and then I want to give my advice, and I would love for you guys to give your opinions as well. So why haven't I been to visit Adam? I'll get to that in a second, but thank you already to everybody that is giving the video thumbs up. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. If you're here and you find it in your heart, I would love recap, he's a mess. I would love for you guys to give this video a thumbs up. It just tells YouTube to please share out my content. Okay. So, and also if you're new here, welcome. My name is Ro. I am the founder of an organization, a nonprofit organization called Strong Prison Wives and Families, and I use my years of experience to help prison wives and family members feel educated, empowered, supported, and loved, not only while their loved ones are serving time, but long after they get out, if you use the tools and exercises that my volunteers and I provide to you, and also all of our subscribers and members and all of their help and support. They will get out, they will stay out, and hopefully you will live happily ever after. I feel like I need to shorten that little elevator pitch, right? So this woman met this man because, before I start, I said this on the first live stream, but we're not judging. We're not here to judge anybody. We are here to help, and we're here to use our experiences to support. So that could look like tough love. That's okay, but I just want you to choose your words wisely because we're not here to judge anybody. So with that said, this woman met her loved one through seeing him on the show Locked Up Raw, and she reached out to him. They developed a friendship, and then it went a little bit further, and they became romantically involved. But in the meantime, about I think it was a year or so in, she wound up catching a drug habit, and she lost contact with him for 5 years while she got herself back to healthy. She wound up getting her kids back and all that stuff, and then 5 years later reached out to him, and they kind of hit the ground running. It was like no time had ever passed. And so a few months, I think it was 4 months into the second time that they were together, he admitted to meeting pen pals, other women, while they were on their little break. So he said to her, so they wound up, because originally they were in a relationship where it was an open relationship, because I forgot this part, he's serving 3 life sentences in Florida State. She's, I think, in California. They're very far apart from one another. And so they had an open relationship due to those circumstances, and then they decided as they became closer, as their relationship evolved more romantically, that they were going to close that off and they weren't going to date other people. But then he admitted to having these women pen pals, and so he said it was just friends. And then, but he did say that this woman, hey Jolene, that this woman is not hard to look at. I can't remember the exact phrase, but she was pretty. And so the girl that reached out to me said, I told him he needs to stop writing to her. And he said, he needs to like cut it off with her. And he said, I would rather just stop writing to her, to cut her off completely. But then this woman, she's in France, she writes and she says she's concerned, she's scared, she doesn't know what happened to him. And so the woman in California gave him an ultimatum, and she said, I think that you need to, 1, send me her last letter, because I'm not believing that it's just platonic, and 2, I need you to write a breakup letter, but send it to me. Oh, thanks, Women Locked Up. Send it to me so that I can send it to her, so I know it goes to her. And originally he got pissed. They fought for it for about an hour, and then he finally agreed. He said, I will send it out to you on Monday. Monday came and went. She never got the letter. So when she confronted him about it, He went nuts. He lost his mind, and then he started making weird threats, like, you're my only bee, and I'm, just very threatening. So she cut off ties with him. She sent me this original email a few weeks ago. So she asked me for my advice, and then the update was that they're cut off because he turned into like a different person. But I didn't read that part before I came on my original live video. And also, I think this is a cautionary tale. So no judgment, but this is especially a cautionary tale for our subscribers and members who reach out to their loved ones while they were already inside. They don't know them at all. They don't know anything about them. I need you guys to really, really, really do your homework, and I need you to really figure out why they're there. You don't get 3 life sentences for being a Boy Scout, you know what I mean? And Adam has a life sentence, so this is not judgment whatsoever. This is me being protective mama bear. You don't get 3 life sentences for being a Boy Scout. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to do your homework. You have to figure out what they did, and you have to cross-check that. You have to ask them what they did, have them tell you, and then you cross-reference that, because you need to know if they're telling you the truth. You need to know if they're lying. He got a life bit for building churches. So, and this is not making fun, this is not judging. You're obviously a very, very intelligent woman. The way that you wrote your email was so well worded. Usually I have to rewrite the emails that I receive if I'm going to read them on a live video, because they need some editing. And that's not me being the grammar police by any means. The way that texting and emails from mobile work right now, autocorrect is our worst enemy. I sound like a crazy lunatic, but every word was spelled right. Everything was legible. You're a very smart woman. And obviously you're a smart woman. If I toss something in here, Joe, please, we would love it. This is for you guys to help as much as it is for me to give my thoughts. That's why I said, what would you do? So I would love it. And for you guys that don't know, Joe has served time himself. And also he just started a podcast that I will promote to you guys once I get the links and stuff. True crime podcast, really cool stuff. So I think that not only you have to research it. I think that, now this is, again, not judgment, it's just my experience with women. I had 2 other women that I worked with who reached out to their loved one after seeing them on a TV show. One was a woman who was very young. She was in her early 20s, if she was 20 when she reached out to me. And, oh, by the way, there was a 10-year age gap between this woman who reached out to me and this lifer guy. And she saw the guy on lockup, believe it or not. Sounds like a bit what my dad did to my mom while he was in prison. He could leave on the weekends. He was picked up by my mom one day, and the next day another woman picked him up. And that's unfortunately common. And before I continue that story about that little girl that reached out to me, I think when you said, this woman said, I watched your green flags and your red flags video, and he always had more green than red. But we have to remember that they can give you whatever they want to give you. They can put out there whatever they want to put out there. And it feels so good, because in these relationships, you get to dictate how often you're going to respond. You get to live a lot of it in your head, because you haven't met him. You haven't really experienced him in the real world. So you get to fill in those gaps. He gets to feed you whatever he wants to feed you. So I think yes, we see the red flags, but a lot of times we just see the green because it feels so good. So you have to just be careful. Dr. Phil did an episode on his show where he interviewed the woman who reached out to Stephen Avery, which is from the Netflix docuseries Making a Murderer, and she became his fiance. She reached out the exact same way this woman did, and he had her on his show, and he interviewed her, and then he gave, I think it was 4 or 5 or maybe 6, I don't know, top reasons that women maybe do this. And somebody asked me, a few of you guys asked me to give my opinion, do a response video to his video. And I think a lot of people thought that I was going to, I think I talked about this on my last live too, sorry for the repeat, but everybody thought that I was going to be like, how dare he talk bad about us? I agreed with everything he said. So go back and watch that video. It's on my channel if you just search Dr. Phil. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I had a woman, like I said, she wasn't a woman, she was a young child. Well, she was an adult. She was over 18, but if she was 20, maybe, you know? So she reached out to this guy and he treated her so poorly, by the things she told me, so poorly. But she saw all of the green flags, not the red. Even though that she was telling me stuff, it was red flag after red flag after red flag. And the more that we talked, she came out and she told me that when she was younger, she did something that was very, very, very against her parents and her parents' religion and the way that she was raised. I can't say the word on YouTube what she did, but you guys I'm sure can put the pieces together and imagine what that was. And so according to her parents' religion, if you committed this sin, you were going to burn in hell for the rest of your life, or not the rest of your life, but for the rest of your eternal life. This is according to her parents and their beliefs. So I believe that from that day forward, she was beating herself up and she created her own hell on earth. And so I'm not a therapist, but I life coached her through what I could, and I kind of helped her see that this relationship was her carving out what she believed that she deserved. I had another woman who reached out to me, very similar, met the guy through one of those shows, I don't know which one, and winds up that her whole entire childhood she was very, very, very severely physically abused. I don't know if there was any other type that I can't say, but very, very physically abused. So she believed that this relationship and the way this man was treating her, because same textbook case along with this one and the one that I just told you about with that little girl, was all she deserved. It was what she deserved, right? And I'm not saying that every MWI is in a bad relationship or in a relationship that is them punishing themselves by any stretch of the imagination or by any means. But I think that for our subscribers and members who are finding themselves seeking out these types of relationships, whether it be through pen pal ads, whether it be through reaching out to those people on lockup or whatever it is, I think that part of it might be you have to soul search and figure out if what's underneath that. Why are you doing it? And so in that Dr. Phil episode, he went through this, and some of the stuff was living in a fantasy. Some of it was a diagnosis. I think it's called a diagnosis. I think it's called hybristophilia. I think that's what it's called, but don't quote me. Where a woman is very, very, very attracted to the bad boy for protection, for thrills, whatever it may be. And so it could be that as well. So you just have to soul search and figure out what's going on with you. But a lot of times we see the green flags, we ignore the red flags. He could tell you whatever he wants to tell you. Oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, and be supportive. But look what happened. I think if you knew, oops, sorry guys, I almost dropped my phone. I think if you knew more about his case, then you might be able to help make your decision more. And look, this is wonderful that this example came out that I could use to teach you guys that his true colors came through when his control was threatened. So she got to see that, and that was her red flag to say, peace out, I'm done, I'm gone, because I am absolutely not gonna put up with this. And that's what I need you guys to learn from. If you're in a situation like this, that's what I need you to see, and that's what I need you to do, because obviously he was putting out there one thing because he could, and then he couldn't control it anymore because he lost that control and his true personality came out. Because again, not to be awful, but you're not getting 3 life sentences plus whatever it was for building churches or being Boy Scouts. Let's go to your questions. There's more I want to say, but I mean your responses, because I think you guys are going to have really, really good advice. Okay. Let me switch hands so my finger isn't over. Sounds a bit like what my dad did. I read that one. If you're going to reach out to someone on a TV show, you best believe there's a ton of other women doing the same thing. Nikita, you're right. And they are going to take full advantage, of course. If people are writing each other in a relationship, people need to check out the person's background, learn who they are talking to. A lot of guys are okay, but a lot of others are wolves. Absolutely, thank you for that. I think I'm gonna throw in my 2 cents, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you were there, not me. I think the majority of guys are wolves, and there are a few, it's the anomaly where they have good intentions when it comes to using women. I could be wrong, I could be completely wrong, but seems to me like you're going against the grain when you're doing the right thing. Just like we always talk about the corruptions of administration, where if you're doing the right thing and you're trying to be helpful, that usually you're going against the grain of the corruption. Kind of the same, similar situation here. A cat on lock-up raw is going to have countless women communicating 3 life bits. He's more than likely going to use it all to his advantage. I agree with that road to prison. I want to know what's wrong with her. Free men are everywhere. Okay, I'll touch that in a sec. Good for her to stand her ground. He should have never spoken to her like that. Absolutely. How would you go about asking those questions without making them upset? Oh, good question. I mean, it's obviously a sensitive subject, but it's also important to get answers. So you need to empower yourself to feel comfortable and confident to do that, because you're not at their mercy, right? If they're not going to write you back or they want to leave you, like, what do you have to lose? And I don't mean that in a heartless way. I mean, how would your daily life change, right? So he should understand why you're asking that. And if he doesn't, see ya. I don't need to be putting my life on hold for somebody who won't even tell me, or who gets pissed off because I'm asking them the obvious questions. Like, I'm asking them to explain to me what's going on. If it's sensitive, well, you should have thought about that before you did it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be insensitive or a bee, but you can't lose your voice because you're afraid how somebody's going to react when it's something so important to decide if you're going to be in a relationship, especially one that you're putting your life on hold indefinitely, forever. Like, I think too many of our subscribers and our members who are in these relationships lose our voice because they don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to piss him off. He's already suffering. I don't want to make him suffer more. No, girl. You have to treat this as you would any other relationship. You have to get your answers. I actually had Adam walk me through every single charge. Like, I am talking, how did you get there? What did you do while you were there? How long did it take? Who was there? Yada, yada. Because this way, it took us a whole summer to do this, and you best believe I fact checked that. And this was a few years into our relationship, but I wasn't about to sit it out with him and not know that kind of stuff. You are on the money. Thanks, Joe. Can you ask for a copy of their paperwork sent to you or emailed? Somebody one of my prison people, can they send you a copy of their paperwork? How does that work? We should be able to Google it. We should be able to look it up. I know for the feds, we could look on Pacer, but you guys let me know, can they send you a copy? They should have a copy of their paperwork, right? How does that work? I'm sorry, Eldy, your comments are so sweet. I'm sorry that she had to experience this, because when there is a connection, it can be hard to let that go. But when somebody talks to you like that, then that's not right. I'm proud of her for ending it. Right, correct. And it could be a connection, again, a lot of us go through this. It could be a connection that's more a fake connection, because he's putting out there what he thinks you want to hear to keep sending in the money, or to keep sending in the whatever he's garnering from this relationship. Shouldn't put your self-worth on hold. He only told her about the pen pals to piss her off. If not, he would have cut ties. Like, what was the purpose? Nikita, I had the same question. Like, was it a control issue? Did he want to see how she would respond? Because he didn't have to tell her. I'm with you. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe, again, my prison people could tell us what would be the motive behind doing that. Funny thing, I've been single for a very long time and I can't meet a woman. People want what they can't have. That's really interesting. I think we have to remember, Ro and Adam are the exception and knew each other before Adam went away. Thank you, Kelly. I can't really blame an inmate that's talking to several women at a time. Their world can be it got cut off, but I think you're right. Like, I put my stuff, okay, I made a video with Adam yesterday. We do our recorded calls once, maybe we're going to move up to twice a week. We'll see about minutes. His idea, not mine. And so we got into it a little bit on that call while it was recording. And we had a disagreement. It wasn't not like a fight. We just didn't agree on something that he was saying, and his institutionalization came out. And then when the phone cut off, I went and on YouTube, and this isn't live yet, you guys, but it will be live. He told me not to post it, but I sure as hell will, because you guys need to see that we're not perfect, and you guys need to see that we have our moments too. And I need you guys to see his institutionalization also, so he could see it one day too. And so you could see when he comes home, hopefully sooner than later, the work that we're gonna have to do, and hopefully that'll help you learn maybe entertain you, but also see the work that you'll have to do one day. But the point is, we're not perfect, but we are an anomaly. So I think sometimes people aspire to be not just like me, but to be like the other people that they see what they put out there. So social media, you guys, are the highlights of people's lives. Everybody's resume is perfect on paper, right? Everybody's perfect on their resume. Everybody's perfect on social media. And that's why I try to pick up the camera and the phone and film when I'm crying, when I'm angry, when I'm upset. And that's why that video will post. And I said in there, I go, you guys, I know he's going to call me back. I just know it because this was such an off phone call. And we've been together so long, we know each other. We could like feel each other's vibes, if that doesn't sound cheesy. Probably does. But he called back twice. And so, and just to talk through it, he said that. I was like, I'm sorry, I feel like I was off on that call. He goes, yeah, me too. I was like, oh, you could tell I was off? He's like, no, I felt like I was off. So I'll let you guys watch that video. But thank you for that, because that's something that I think I needed to talk through as well. You can send paperwork. Thank you, Nikita. Baby daddy sent me his perfect. Is it still buffering, you guys? Let me turn back this way. They don't have much control over who comes and goes from their lives. I'm not excusing it, but I can understand it. Okay, that's a great thing to talk about too. So Adam has so many friends, and so many friends fell to the wayside. So when I first came back into his life, I said to him, I was like, listen, I was like, you need to keep yourself as normal as you can. And so if you need to reach out to your friends, I don't care. I'm not a jealous person. And he obviously, I know I get most of his minutes and I get most of his emails, but I'm also secure enough in my relationship and I trust him enough to allow him to have those relationships with other people. And maybe I'm like eating those words right now. And if this was an edited video, I might have cut that out because I don't want that to excuse bad behavior on the other end. I think you just have to get to the point where you build trust. And when you trust somebody enough, then you can say, you want to talk to your friend Sarah from high school? Talk to your friend Sarah, who's married happily with 5 kids. Have a conversation with her, because when you come out here, there's not going to be one woman on this planet that you have to interact with, me. There's going to be tons out here. So I need you to know and how to learn how to interact with these people before you come out here, especially after serving 20 years and only interactions are with me in person, your mother, and the women COs. That's not real interactions with women, you know, like, and I don't mean that against any women COs. I mean, that's like a very, very arm's length, what's the word? When they authoritative interaction. So it's different. Okay. I remember when you said you used to visit to get answers. How did you bring it up? I just don't know how to transition from how's your day going to tell me everything about why you're here. I would just say, you know, you could even use this. Say I was watching this girl's YouTube videos. She talks about it. She's been with her husband for this long. You can kind of like, it's credible. And say, she said X, Y, and Z. So I think that might be a really good exercise for us to get to know each other on a deeper level. You don't have to say, I want to make sure you're not lying. Just, I really want to make sure I understand this. And I want to make sure when I have to speak for you, and I have to vouch for you, that I understand what I'm speaking to. If something comes up legally and it could help your case, you're going to know before him, probably, if you have access to Google and you kind of have a base knowledge of what happened. But you need to have a base knowledge of what happened so that you don't have to say it in a way where I'm questioning you, but you could say, you know, I just really want to know exactly what happened because I'm here for the long haul. So don't you want to know about my past? Don't you want to know about things that I've done and things that make me tick? Adam knows about my skeletons too. It wasn't a one-sided deal. If he'll do it to them, he'll do it to you, sadly. In Michigan, there's a website for inmates. Tells you all their crimes. Isn't this info available in all states? I don't know. I know Massachusetts, they're closed. I had a friend that got locked up in Massachusetts, and I just wanted to make sure he was okay and nothing. And I wanted to know when he was getting out because we did some business together and legal. And in Massachusetts, it's all locked, but I don't know about other states. I guess it's different state to state. I know in the feds, where my experience is, it is available on Pacer. He sounds like he's trying to manipulate her for her to send money, so when she cut it off, he got angry because he feels like he's in the right. I got it. I said this before and I will say it again. You are right. People can make people hear what they want to hear. That doesn't sound cheesy at all. A strong connection builds that. Me and my fiance are the same way when it comes to feelings. That's in response to me and Adam. Prison is very lonely. An inmate will steal other inmates' mail and pics. The more letters, the better. I knew guys that did the entire bit juggling multiple women. It's how they do their time. Road to prison is that's more common than it's not, right? No more buffering. Okay, good. ABC is Adam's initials. As for you and Adam, you two are the most upfront and genuine people I know. That's why I like this channel and I like you guys. You are straight with people, and so is Adam. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you. I wondered where all my mail went. What about the I was just testing you? Like, for what one does that even means two? Like, for one, what does that even mean? Two, why are you testing me? And three, were you really, or are you just saying that because I called you out? Kristen, great points. Why are you testing me? I don't need to be tested. Are you my father? And I don't know, I'm with you. All of those are excellent points. If it's you and him against the system, he'd best let you in. There you go. Thanks, Melinda. Ariel, hey. So hard. It made a broke up, devastated. I am so sorry. So my advice to you is to take some time to heal. And I always say this, and I know it's so much easier said than done, but the luxury, just grasping for silver linings that we have is your day-to-day life, aside from phone calls and emails, isn't going to change very much. It's not like you have to get all of his clothes out of your house. It's not like you have to, you go to bed without him now. So I think just allow yourself to heal, work through those feelings, and then distract yourself with things. And my advice, and I apologize to anybody that's done this, is please don't go after another inmate. We have so many women who get so used to that life that they seek out other people on the inside, and that becomes like a really bad habit. It almost is easier, safe, and I hate when people say prison relationships are safe, but in that way, it's almost safer than having to go out the traditional way and meet people. So if I could big sister you for 1 second and give you advice, please don't hop around to another one, because it's just going to develop a really bad, unhealthy response to dating and breaking up. And if anybody wants to weigh in on that, you're more than welcome. And that's not judgment. I know people who have done it successfully, but that's just my advice to you fresh off of a breakup. I can never pronounce ZMA. I don't know what that means. I just can't stop crying. Oh, honey, I know, but that always happens with a breakup, so you're going to be okay. Just make sure you give yourself the time to cry it out and to heal. That's normal. That's fine. And then after a few days, you're going to have to just embrace the suck, as they like to say at CrossFit. Embrace the suck. You know it's going to suck, but I should probably do a whole video on embracing the suck. But you just have, and that sounds dirty, but they just mean, like, if you walk in and you see a workout and you're like, oh, this is going to suck, you just got to embrace the fact that it's gonna be really crap. It's gonna be crappy during that time. So you gotta embrace the suck, and you gotta go through the motions of life. And then eventually the tears will dry and the black cloud will lift, and every day will be a little bit easier. Time heals that wound. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I know it's tough. You're in the right place right now. Thank you, Jody. Adam knows how blessed he is. A woman who stands by his side is rare. He will never do you wrong. I agree with that. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt. If I had any doubt, last night proved all of it. So I told you guys, let me just read this. He will give you the world when he's free, Ro. He will love you forever. My girlfriend ghosted me in 6 months. Oh, road to prison. I'm sorry. So last night, after we had that little tiff on video that I'm going to post, and then he called back, and then on that call, he was still kind of short-tempered, and he asked me to write letters to he asked me to solicit to certain people some letters for support and character references. And so I said, and he asked me that a couple days ago, and I had no idea what he was talking about, and I forgot. I'm just so busy all the time. Full-time job, full-time YouTube, trying to keep a workout schedule, a house. I don't even have kids, so you guys who have kids know how tough that is. And so I never got a chance to respond to that, and I think it frustrated him a little bit. And so he was like, I need you to write those letters. And I said to him, I said, okay, well, did the attorney ask them for those letters? He's like, I don't know. And I go, okay, well, should I call the attorney and ask him? And he's like, let me do that. And then I said, okay. And so when we ask these people for these letters, are we asking for X? Like, are we asking them to support you for this avenue? Or are we asking for Y? Are we asking them for support for this avenue? And he's like, oh, that's a really good question. So I don't know. Let me talk to the attorney first. So He comes back later on an email, and then he like took a couple breaths, by the way, before we got off this call, and he's like, I'm sorry, I just feel like I have to push so hard, so fast to get home to you as soon as possible, that I've done everything on my end, and now that I can't do any more, I feel it's tough for me. It's giving me, it's kind of messing with his head. And I said, listen to me. I said, just breathe. You're going to be okay. He goes, and we always have 15 minutes that get cut off so fast. And I said, it's okay. I said, we have email. It's okay. And then he sent me, after that call got hung up, he sent me an email where he kind of clarified that a little bit further. So the point is, when you get to that point, you just know each other. You can feel each other's vibes. I knew that was going on. And I was able to, I knew what he was doing. I knew that he had no idea what he wanted me to ask or who he wanted me to ask. And he was just wound very tight. And so you just have to talk through those things, and you have to swallow your pride. I'm not going to lie. In the beginning of that call, I got a little bit snippy when he's like, did you send the letter? Da-da. I'm like, well, I could send you this one right after this call. I could do this. And then I realized what was going on, and I just bit my tongue. So you'll get there, you guys. I think asking them first and getting their full criminal history, and then looking up legal documents and making sure they match. If they don't, it pretty much tells you they might not be trustworthy. Kelly, I agree with that 100% with one little caveat. You have to remember, yes, you're on the money, but sometimes the media needs a story. Not sometimes, always the media needs a story, traditional media. So if the crime fits, but the details maybe are a little bit different, and it sounds like maybe he downplayed it a little bit, maybe he did, but also the media needs a villain and they need a victim, and they're going to make that villain out to be as bad as they possibly can. So if it's played up a little bit in the media, but it kind of matches, then I wouldn't consider that necessarily a totally red flag. If you guys could see the articles that were written about Adam and how he was the ringleader and this and that, and a lot of the facts, a few of the facts, not a lot, a few of the facts are completely wrong. A few of them are completely misconstrued. And then trial was just a hot mess. But the point is, there, you just have to make sure that it matches. But if the articles you find are a little bit gory, it could just be because the media needed this story. Mail and pics are stolen on the regular. Ugh. Makes me not want to send pictures. Lots of brawls occur over free world access. Maybe if you want a connection and have compassion, write the gender you don't prefer. That's such great advice, Melinda. In romantic relationships, it might allow for some energy and a compassionate outlet while healing. That is such a good point, because I know so many people who said that they were just writing because they wanted to. It was somebody, one of the women, it was her New Year's resolution to reach out to somebody and to make them feel better. And like Melinda said, some people just feel it in their heart. That is so good. That is so good. Because I'm going to tell you right now, 100%, not 90, not 95, 100% of the people, at least that I have come into contact with, which then again, I run an organization, Strong Prison Wives, so might be a little bit biased, but they reach out as a pen pal, and it always, everybody I've ever interacted with turns into more because of that. Glamour is the wrong word, but because of that, like the fantasy aspect that you get to fill in the blanks. It's so intriguing. So that's a great point. Things do get better after a breakup. I just went through it after 12 years. Oh, Ariel, you're such a poster girl for that. You're so amazing. Rose right 100%. Take the time for you. I'm saying it as well. Take time for you. You're the most important person. There are people who will support you. Let those people in. That's awesome. Don't be sorry for those caps. Those were good caps. I don't think I will go down that road. It hurts too bad. I'm done. Oh, honey. If Michigan had conjugal visits, I'd marry an inmate tomorrow. Just kidding. Trying to give you all a chuckle. I wish they would bring them back in the feds. Hey, Ro. I'm a new subscriber. Yay, you're an amazing, strong woman doing great things. I hope the best for you. Thank you, Tabby, so much. So much love to you. I didn't hide ABC's comment. Maybe can you retract your own comment? Hey, Ray Ray. I might be the only male mod. Are you the only male mod? Do you want me to make you another? Maybe I'll make another male mod so you don't feel so alone. My husband looks like a monster too. She's kidding. not newspaper. They're in the business of selling news, not telling truth. Exactly. And also online media outlets like, you know, newspaper online outlets. Why you apologize to me? You delete a comment on accident. Oh, that's a great point. Yay, you're finally here live. I hated when the newspaper printed articles about my boyfriend. They made him look like a complete monster. They made everything sound 10 times worse than they were. Yeah, so I did a video a really, really long time ago. Like, I'm talking when my channel was before I deleted it. So I don't know if it's even up anymore. Or I don't know if it's on Periscope. I went from YouTube to Periscope to Facebook Live and then came back to YouTube. So there was this boy, I mean 18, literally, out of high school. And he went to McKean where Adam is now. This was a long time ago. He since has come home. And he had this really famous case out of a really small town. And Netflix came in and made a documentary, not a documentary, but they made, yeah, I guess a documentary about his case. And the facts were so misconstrued. It was terrible that he wound up having to check into PC. They transferred him the hell out of there. I remember when they put him in the hole. Actually, he didn't check in. They put him in the hole. They put him in the hole, and Adam called me, and he's like, you got to do me a favor, and you have to call his mother. And I will never forget this. It is so vividly. I was driving over a hill, this hill to get to the highway. It used to take me to my old gym, and you would sit in traffic for like 20 minutes there. And I was sitting in that traffic over that hill, and she called me back. I left her a voicemail, and I was like, listen, I just have to tell you, you know, blah, blah, blah. The sobs that came out of that woman, I had to pull off on a side street and sit there for like an hour and try to calm her down. And I had nothing to say. I just kept being like, I know. She was so upset that they were moving him away from Adam because Adam took him under his wing, very much like a father figure, big brother figure. He would be so upset if I said that. But sometimes they just don't even realize they don't know what they're doing. And it's nothing against them. I mean, that's their job. That's what it's meant to do. But it was just sad because, I mean, they brought in like different organizations to comment on this, and they turned it into a hate crime, which it absolutely was not. It was just little kids getting into a fight. A baseball team getting into a fight with kids from a different school and it went bad. And so it was bad luck, but the way that the celebrities that came in and the organizations that came in and twisted this, oh, it was horrible. Horrible. In the media, he looked like a monster. Yep. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thanks, Ray Ray. Never forget that a dude locked up is going to be in there. Oh, no, it got cut off. On their best behavior. Got it. Any dude is going to talk a big game. Did you hear the New York inside me come out? Gonna talk a big game and get any lady sucked in. Lots of guys locked up know how to manipulate. Some are experts. You're on the money. I do not disagree with that. So the takeaway, the point is that, first of all, this woman is very intelligent, and I'm so proud of her for setting her boundaries and for cutting him off after he had that temper explosion, because those are his true colors. You can only go on a honeymoon for so long before true colors are going to come out. So you're very smart for doing that. I know it hurts, Chatty. I know it hurts right now, but we have to make sure that we are putting ourselves first and foremost. Hi, Ro. Discovered you from Jessica Kent's channel. I love your channel and what you stand for. Are you from New Jersey? Can you tell from my accent? Yes, I'm from New Jersey. You guys, by the way, today's Jess's birthday, so make sure you go over there and you give her some birthday love. I believe she's 30 today. So I'm so happy you're here. I just recently made a commitment to myself not to watch any movie show that profits off of an inmate. Ray Ray, I love that. Ray Ray has these really amazing, like, self-control and like these, I love your, like, the way you stand up for things that mean so much to you. Ray Ray's like a big sister to me. She teaches me so much. I love her. Even when I piss her off and tell her that she makes me salty, one day I'm like, why are you salty? She's like, I'm not salty. And then I started calling her, I started calling myself her saltine cracker, because I was joking. The big 30, yeah. Can you call me out? Sure, Rebecca Feldman. Hey. Thank you, Ro. This is very hard for me. Thanks, everyone, for your support. Oh, honey, you're welcome. How do you get into prison reform? That's a great question. So I would link up with organizations. One of my favorite organizations is call her Ritz. Ray Ritz. FAMM, F-A-M-M, which started out as a federal. They really were working on federal mandatory minimum sentences, but now it's been so many years that they're branching off into states. So I would reach out to them. I mean, if you want to start as far as just volunteering with Strong Prison Wives, you're more than welcome. We're always looking for volunteers. On our website, you can find the volunteer application, strongprisonwivesandfamilies.com. But then I would reach out to FAMM. I would reach out to the ACLU in your state. And here's something else that's really helpful. When you get into business, right, they tell you to pick a niche or niche. I don't know how to say that word. Everybody says it differently. But they tell you to pick an area that you want to kind of like concentrate on, where your expertise is. So for me, for example, I really concentrate, because Adam's case is federal and it's 924C. Well, we won't even use me as the example. We'll use my friend Devon. Devon has her master's in criminal justice. She's worked at a juvenile detention center for many, many, many years. Her loved one has 924Cs. So she developed an organization called Mercy Me 924C, where they focus on 924C. And her husband, her loved one, is very, very close, Adam thinks any day, to having his case resolved. Once that happens, then they will take that organization, they will continue to help 924C, but they'll branch off into other areas of federal and then state. So the point in telling you that is, where do your interests lie? Is it federal? Is there something unfair with his case? Do you want to work on like innocence project type of stuff, people who are wrongfully convicted? So just take some time to soul search and figure out what ignites your flame with criminal justice reform, because we can't just change the whole entire system in one fair swoop. So then once you figure that out, I would reach out to an organization that's already started there and see how you can help them. So for example, like if clemency, changing the DOJ's clemency process it's a battle, right? And it sucks. And this woman named Amy Pova came in and she made an organization called Can Do Clemency. And now she mixes and mingles with all kinds of people, like lawyers and attorneys and organizations and people at the White House, to help her, the people that she believes get clemency, and to also change the people that she believes need clemency should get clemency. I said that funny. And she also wants to help change that process. So if, let's say, clemency was your thing, which it doesn't have to be, it's an example, you would go online, you could research, you can find those organizations, you can go on Facebook. There's a Facebook group for everything and your brother. So she has a Facebook page on there. Reach out to those people, and that's how I would suggest getting involved. How do you deal with worrying about Adam's safety? So I just have to remind myself, that's a great question. I have to remind myself that Adam knows how to do time. He's done a lot of time. And listen, it's scary. There's going to be issues where he could be put in harm's way at all times. You can't focus on it. I just have to remember he knows how to do time. And so I don't live every day worrying about that, because I would make myself sick. Is it a reality? Is it a possibility? Sure. But I know he's living in a way where he's not going to put himself in the middle of harm's way. And he told me, like, when things pop off, I have something that goes through my mind that says, like, my face flashes in front of his eyes, he says. And then he thinks, like, Adam is very smart. His brain works bumblebees. Oh my God, I gotta get away from the bees. I got stung not too long ago out here. So his brain works faster than most of us. Honestly, I'm in awe of him and how his brain works. But so he will be able to rationalize, is this something that I need to get involved in? Is this something that I could just let go? Thank God, he lost his ego and that like prison politics ego to an extent a long time ago. So I apologize for the shaking. So I just try not to worry. I trust him. I trust that if he winds up in a situation, that it's something that was beyond his control and he had to get involved with. And it hasn't happened in this many years, and I don't anticipate for it to, because I know he's so close to being home. And so that's why I don't worry. But as far as you, I think it's just like you have to have a talk with him